Live life so that you create good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you radiate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you generate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so as to emanate good vibes. The good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes. With good vibes. Welcome to the Good Vibes Podcast.
Hey my friends, and welcome to the Good Vibes Podcast. It's Tushar from Bangalore. I've recently shifted in from Delhi and now I've moved my base to Bangalore. Bangalore is my hometown and it's great to be over here with my family. And I'll be commuting to college from home now, not living in a hostel. So that's the good news. I don't need to wash my underwears every week. That's just an update for you. So today's podcast is about self-forgiveness and how taking a step towards being more compassionate towards yourself can enhance your life in a multitude of ways. I genuinely hope that you enjoy this podcast and you give it a good rating and review. See you soon. Hey my friends, and welcome to today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about self-forgiveness. Oh my God, it's such an important topic because forgiveness is one of the main reasons that we limit ourselves from doing something which we want to achieve. Or many a times, it is the reason because it is the reason for not changing a particular behavioral pattern which we want to change. Maybe for many people it is smoking, or if they're into drugs. I'm taking an extreme example, but they don't quit it because they haven't forgiven themselves for picking it up. So they find no point in forgiving themselves. It's a true fact. For some of us, being mean to someone can be, we continue to do the same pattern because we find that we haven't forgiven ourselves, or we haven't found forgiveness for what we have done in the past. So this keeps us in the same pattern of repeating the same activity even though we don't want to do it. So that's why it's essential to forgive yourselves. So this podcast is dedicated to forgiving yourselves, and I'm going to tell you the main reasons why you should do it. Forgiveness, if you look at it, is for something of the past. So the past is the past, and it no way affects your future because you will not let it affect your future. It's gone. The only thing that is left with you of the past is a memory. And the memory has no power over you unless you give it that power. So it's important to forgive yourself because we need to stop living in the past. Because we live in the past and repeat the stories of our failures in our mind, it prevents us from taking action that can actually change the world. We are heroes, we are legendary people, and by stopping or limiting ourselves because of some past experience, we are killing a future world changer action. World changer. It can really affect how the world sees the world, how the people of the world see the world, because we are capable of doing that. You should also forgive yourself because you need to live with yourself after all. You're your only companion throughout life. There's no permanent companion who's been with you from the time you were born to the last day. It's only you. It's you who are your constant companion. So isn't it a prettier picture if you look at yourself at peace with yourself? If you're forgiven, because as humans, we make mistakes. That's what we were created for. We were created for making mistakes and learning from them and repeating this process over and over again. So once we are with peace with ourselves, we no longer find the need to point fingers at ourselves. Once we forgive ourselves, we are with peace with ourselves, and that's a better companion to have. That's the simplest reason you can find in the whole myths. The reason is to have a better journey, have a more peaceful journey. That's reason number 2. And reason number 3 is, when you forgive yourself, you're better equipped to forgive others. We've all met that person who is rude to us for no reason, or who makes sure we don't have a good time, or is mean to us for no reason. The likelihood of him not having forgiven himself for a past mistake is very high, because he's not able to find peace with himself, and that's triggered him to create unrest or harm to others around him. So in the same trail, in the same way, if we forgive ourselves and find peace with ourselves, we are better equipped to spread peace among others. And you know that with peace comes happiness and joy, and these are the same feelings that we are better equipped and feel better in our own skin. So that enables us to spread the good vibes of peace, positivity, and compassion, because we have the compassion to forgive ourselves, so we have the same compassion to forgive others. So it starts with the self. So those were 3 reasons to forgive yourself. 1 is it's in the past and it no longer affects your future. 2 is it just gives you a better journey. And 3, it improves the life of the people. It improves the lives of the people around you. Now I'm going to talk about how you can forgive yourself. Now this is what I have practiced, and I have found this extremely beneficial. What I suggest is deal with it as soon as possible. If you have found yourself guilty of something, or you feel unforgiven for some mistake of your past that you have caused to someone, or you took a decision which doesn't help you and you didn't like it, and you have not forgiven yourself for something like that, it's time to go back to that memory, relive the memory, and forgive yourself. It feels really difficult, but here you need to remember and try to understand the situation in which you were in what was the circumstances for you, how did you look at things, why did you make that decision. It's also beneficial to ask yourself why you made that decision. When you ask yourself that, you'll come up with some reasons. Maybe it was a circumstance, maybe you weren't thoughtful enough, or you didn't think it through. But whatever the reason is, try to relate with that reason and forgive yourself for it, like you would to a really, really close friend. Whatever the friend did, you would finally relate with that person and say, it's okay. It happens. I mean, these are the same things you need to tell yourself, because it's okay. It happens is a reality. It's the truth. Things happen and you need to get over it, because, like I told you, you're built for much, much greater things. And the things, you can't see the things which lie ahead of you unless you forgive yourself completely. What I did recently was I meditated for half an hour to forgive myself for not being a really good brother when I was in my younger days. I was a good brother, but there were sometimes I would get irrational with my sister and scold her or hit her for no reason of hers at all. And when I look back, I felt that I was in the wrong. I should have been a better brother. I should have been more supportive. And maybe that would have shaped the relationship in a different path altogether. And I was critical of myself, and I hadn't forgiven myself completely. So I sat down one day for half an hour and I saw the situation, I saw how I was, I saw what I did, and then I related with the feeling of being forgiven. I asked myself, how would it be to be forgiven right now? How would it feel like? What would it be if someone were to forgive me and I ask forgiveness from someone and they forgive me? How would it feel for this situation? And when I asked myself that, then there came upon a time where I still wanted to. It didn't happen with me, but for you, if you still have that feeling of wanting to cling to that sensation of criticizing yourself or cling to those thoughts of being critical with yourself, ask yourself, would I rather be with this feeling or would I rather be free? And there's no correct answer for this, because at that moment you may not feel like forgiving yourself, and which is perfectly all right. But eventually, when you ask yourself this question, you train yourself and you start the process of self healing and self forgiveness. And this happens at a subconscious level. So during the day, sometime it may come back, and when that happens, you just need to tell yourself, I forgive myself, I let go, I am at peace with myself. So this is what I did in that half an hour forgiveness session that I gifted to myself. I sat down, I thought of the problem, I reviewed what I did, and I saw that maybe I did it because I wasn't feeling loved enough or some reason of that sort. And I wasn't mature enough to know that there is an abundance of love. So when I related with that feeling, I saw that there was a reason that that little boy was acting a particular way, and he was doing it to express something which no one heard. That was his way of expressing something, and I heard it. And now, and after I did that, I felt at peace. I am at peace right now with what's happened. And then it feels like it's a fresh slate. There's a new day. It's new. The feeling of being forgiven gives you the feeling of a chunk of time or a particular kind of period which is over, which you no longer have to deal with because it's gone. So you have a fresh slate, you have a new path, you turn over a new leaf, and you act out in a way you never have before. So that you proceed in this journey of being legendary and being excellent. That was today's podcast, my friends. I'll meet you again next time. Hey everybody, so that was today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it rocked your day. If you would like to reach out to me, you can contact me on Instagram. My ID is your local podcaster, your dash under dash local under dash podcaster, your space local space podcaster. My name is Tushar Shankar on Instagram. On Facebook, you can find the Good Vibes podcast group with an orange logo. And you can reach out to me and tell me where you're from and how my podcast helped or inspired you. And I would love to take on topics which would be of significance to you. So that was today, and if you've seen, I have started this new format of introducing something current happening in my life inside of my podcast, so it gives you a glimpse of what's happening around me. So I'll be talking about what is happening around me in the start of the podcast and a little bit towards the end of the podcast. So keep supporting me. And thank you for all your support. I've got over 1,200 listens at the moment. And we are going to really boost. We are going to boom. Let's aim to become number 1 on iTunes, I say. So enjoy your day and spread the good vibes.
Hey my friends, did you enjoy this podcast? If you did, do rate, review and subscribe to it on iTunes or whichever app or application you are using. And if you feel someone in your life needs to hear this message, don't think twice about sharing it. Or if you feel this inspires you to record one of your own podcasts, go ahead and spread the good vibes. Of your love.